perfect setting for letting dreams come true.
Let's talk about YouTube for a bit.
Sure.
You folks have already mentioned that YouTube's becoming your income source. Now, lots of people are wondering how you get from thinking about starting a YouTube channel to the point where you're actually able to live off of it. So what happens in that interim there? How did you get it to that point?
So when we first started our channel, so just to kind of provide the background here, like I moved over to Switzerland to be with Aladino. I fell in love with Aladino. I fell in love with Magic Carpet, and I knew that I wanted to sail with both of them. But what that meant is I left behind my family, my friends, everything that I ever knew. I moved to this country where I'm not a citizen. I don't know how anything works. I don't know how I don't know how to speak the language, like nothing. And so that time when I moved to Switzerland was actually a really difficult time for me because I felt like I lost a really big part of my identity. And the things that I always loved to do were to play music, to write, and obviously I loved sailing. And so when we started our adventure together, I started the channel really as an outlet for my passions, that I could combine my music, my writing, my love of sailing, and have something that was actually mine, because I was basically just running around the boatyard doing what Aladino said, and I really needed that thing that was mine. So I didn't start it off with a business sort of mindset. Now, going back, if I had done that, perhaps it would have grown more quickly, I don't know. But the one really, really good thing that happened because of that is that I started the channel because I loved it. And I loved the opportunity to just create stories. And I really think that even now, that is the most important thing to having that successful channel, is you have to really love bringing that story out and spending the time to create something that you're proud of. I think that starting the channel to be an income source and only for that reason is going to instantly lead you to not being successful.
That's right.
So I think that's the first question, is like, do you love telling the story? Do you really love what you're doing? And being able to share it with people.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's
very much like music as well. I know you're a musician and you play guitar and you play violin, lovely music, but it's the same, you're using the same muscles mentally, I mean, to create video. I find I play music myself, and I find myself playing the same, you know what I mean? It's sort of the same, it's sort of the same, you're laying bare the same emotions almost.
Totally. And you're finding that rhythm, you're making sure everything is paced, you're making sure it seems lyrical somehow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Chris is always tapping his toe when he's
Yeah. Oh, Maya does that too. Sometimes I'm worried the decks are gonna delaminate.
Yeah, it's a music thing, isn't that neat?
It is. Chris
Yeah.
said that before. It's much like writing music.
Yeah.
What do you play, Chris?
I play guitar and sing and write music as well. So yeah.
Mostly a songwriter, I think. Eh?
Yeah. So how did you learn to do the videos? Was it mostly you, or are the two of you together?
I'm a complete Neanderthal. I know how to turn computers on and off by now, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do all the video stuff. Aladino helps out a lot with the filming, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoy the filming behind the camera, and Maya does the editing. Yeah.
But in terms of learning how to do it, I'm of the generation where I grew up around computers, so it is sort of just what I'm used to. But I also did make films beforehand for my music occasionally. They were never really stories like the YouTube channel that we have now, but I knew how to basically operate the video editor and the camera and all of that.
Yeah. So what kind of gear are you using though?
Well, when we started out, and for the first 2 years, I just had a 2010 MacBook. It was this really old thing. I couldn't even actually watch my videos back in real time until they were uploaded on YouTube because my computer didn't have enough power to play them back.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
You're really
And also at the
taking a chance
beginning.
Crossed, yeah.
there. You're really taking a chance there, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could hear the audio, so I edited everything just with the audio.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can see what's on the screen when I pause it, but it would only play like one frame every 3 seconds or so you could never actually see the smooth video. Yeah, and then at the beginning, we only had an iPhone and we had a GoPro.
Yeah, the whole first season was with the iPhone.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that, again, like really highlights the fact that you don't need the fancy equipment. You need the storytelling and like the excitement and the passion for what's there, and people will want to watch that. Because I mean, our channel grew, I think, to 20,000 subscribers before we even got a camera. So
Wow.
it's, yeah. So it is really the storytelling and how you create that emotion in your video that I think people resonate with. Of course, the equipment then adds definitely the cherry on top. And now I've got a better computer and I've got a nice camera and a nice lens and extra GoPro and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that was definitely secondary. Yeah.
So what's the upgraded gear? What are you using now?
Now we have an M50, a Canon M50 camera. It's again like not a super expensive camera, but it's really nice. And then we just recently upgraded to a Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens, which has made a giant difference. It's beautiful.
Really excited for that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then a patron was also kind enough to donate a drone to us, which has also made a really big difference. And then also one of the new GoPros with the stabilization, which is fantastic. Oh, and then also this wacky little camera called a DJI Osmo Pocket.
You know what? I've looked at those. They're kind of neat.
Yeah, no, they are really handy. The audio is terrible, so it is a little bit difficult to vlog on, but the image quality is fantastic, and it's really cool to have that gimbal. So it is really useful when you're walking around places, visiting cities or whatever.
Yeah. I really like that one for when, for example, we're in a new place and we're going out for dinner, and we dress up and we don't feel like grabbing the camera too, but that one fits in the pocket and it stabilizes nicely, and then you can get some B-roll. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's tiny. Yeah.
Because we went for it because the first GoPro we used that was really shaky, we found even after stabilizing it, it was really not very nice. And the Osmo solved that.
It was like a 3 or a 4 then you were using?
A 5.
Hero 5, yeah. So your laptop is that you upgraded to, what sort of laptop are we talking about?
Another old one.
Yeah, well, I went from an old laptop to a slightly less old one. But no, this one's fantastic. It's a 2015 MacBook Pro 15-inch. And it's fantastic. It does everything just perfectly. It's totally changed my editing. I don't know why I didn't get one sooner. So
So what editing suite are you using?
Final Cut.
Final Cut.
Yeah.
You're the first person we've talked to that's using Final Cut.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got it actually because it's a one-time fee rather than a monthly fee. And so I just preferred that. But yeah, I mean, it runs really well on the Mac. I think the benefit of Premiere obviously is you don't need the Mac. You can run it on anything. But yeah, I really like Final Cut.
Yeah. Wow. So did you have like a viral kind of a video that came out that sort of kicked you guys off? What was that video?
Yeah, it was actually the 8th video that we had uploaded to YouTube. And I think I just sort of hit lucky because I didn't know enough at that point to really understand how the thumbnails and titles work. But basically what I've now discovered is that titles that promise kind of one topic that is a commonly asked or commonly searched for topic usually do the best, rather than sort of more the vlog style titles about one specific event in your life or your adventures. So the 8th video that I uploaded was called What It's Like to Travel on a Sailboat. And I think that title is, it's just like, it's about this one thing which people are curious about, and it appeals to a wide audience. And then it had kind of an appealing thumbnail, and so that one started to go big, and that's what launched our channel. After that happened, I was still not really in the business mindset, and I didn't really understand why it had gone big, but I was happy it had, and I just kept creating videos like I had. But now, you know, I've become a little bit more attuned to what will do well and what won't. And I will say that on that topic, like, now I can predict a little bit more easily which videos will take off and which won't. And what I've ended up doing with that is that I create videos now kind of for our subscribers, and then I also find myself creating videos to get subscribers. And usually, like, the vlogs about our adventures, which push the story along and which sort of show where we're going next and what we've been doing and what we get up to, those are the videos for subscribers, and they don't generally generate a huge amount of new subscribers. Some for sure, but not, you know, tons. Whereas then the other videos that are about one specific topic, not necessarily about our voyage and our lives, but more about a topic, those are the ones that will go big and will generate a lot of new subscribers.
So like something simple, like how to make a meal on a boat, or how to lower your mast, or how to fix fiberglass, or
yeah,
well,
not only how to, but also
along those lines. Like, for example, the how to fix fiberglass one, it's practical for sure, but it's only a topic that people would really click on if they needed to fix fiberglass.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like the how to travel, or what it's like to travel on a sailboat, even if you don't necessarily want to travel on a sailboat, it's still kind of an interesting thing just to know about how that way of life works. So it's also thinking about how broad of an audience does this appeal to, and will people click on this just out of general interest, or is it really only something that people will click on if they need to know that item? So for example, like the how to make a meal on a sailboat, unless you have a sailboat and you plan to make meals on it, that's not really a video you would necessarily click on.
Yeah.
So I think that one would maybe, it might do well, but I don't think it would go as viral, perhaps.
Well, that's really interesting, you know?
Yeah.
It was a steep learning curve. There is so much to it. It's incredible.
And it's a lot of trial and error. It's so much. And I mean, you really just have to keep going and figure it out eventually. But I think it's impossible to start off right off the bat and have it all figured out. Like, it takes time to see what will work and what won't.
Yeah, yeah. I think our mistake has been that we've stayed on the same path all the way through, that we said, this is our format, this is our opener, this is our closer, this is the way we will title, like the font, everything was pre-selected. And we've essentially done the same thing for 87 episodes.
Okay.
But we've never appealed for money. We've never really asked for subscribers. You know, we've never been intentional the way you have been. And I think that's a really good point, I think, to be more intentional about it.
I think that financially we didn't need the money, and had we needed that, and I mean, we sold our house before we left.
Okay.
And so we had that little nest egg to draw from. But so I mean, you know, what is the thing of innovation?
We had the freedom of doing whatever the heck we wanted. Yeah.
So. Yeah. Did you study
for us as well?
Sorry. Did you study business in university?
No, not at all. No, I studied journalism. I went to a liberal arts university, so actually I studied a lot of things. But no, but I think for us as well, like, we didn't start a Patreon account even until I think we had like 8,000 subscribers or something before we even started the Patreon account. Because again, that wasn't like our primary focus. But once the channel started doing well and we had that viral video, then of course I was like, well,
actually it was people recommending it.
Yeah, and people started commenting like, your channel's cool, like you should start a Patreon, would definitely support you. And I actually, if we're talking about, you know, starting a channel here, I think I would actually recommend that approach, because when you start off, like I said, like, you really have the passion for telling the story and you enjoy making the videos and creating the art out of it. And then you're not asking for money right away either. I think it's easier to build up your audience in the beginning because they can tell that you actually just enjoy what you're doing. And then once you have that audience that already likes you, and then you open your Patreon account, like we instantly got a whole bunch of patrons because they had been following us already for some time,
Really?
liked us, and
Yeah.
didn't feel sort of like we were trying to take advantage of the views. And I think that was really helpful, especially at the beginning, to build up that sort of reputation of just, we're out here, we're doing this, we're funding it ourselves. And then later on, like, if you really do want to help, we've got this patron. Amazing. Thank you so much. We appreciate all your
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and then they want to see more product from you as well. So
totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
speaking of product now, you folks have some t-shirts and that kind of stuff. Nothing at all?
No, nothing at all. No.
No, we might come up with something, but yeah, we couldn't stick to what is normally used.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're a bit picky about that, and we haven't come across.
Basically, like, we've been approached by a few different t-shirt companies who want to work with us and all that, but
Yeah.
the problem is that when you're on a sailboat, you obviously don't have room for inventory, so then you generally want to go with a drop shipper. Are you familiar with that term?
Yeah, like bonfire or
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You want to go with a drop shipper. And I looked around quite a bit because to me the most important thing is that if we're going to sell t-shirts, first of all, the world doesn't need more like cheaply made t-shirts. So I didn't want to just like mass produce just for whatever reason, just because
Yeah. I'm with you on
Yeah.
that for sure.
And then the other reason is that we sail around and we see all the plastic in the oceans, and I absolutely cannot with a clear conscience contribute to that plastic problem. And
Yeah.
so my first priority is if we ever do start up with merchandise, then all of our merchandise has to be shipped plastic free. And
Yeah.
none of the drop shippers that I contacted, none of them were able to do that.
Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us, and we really had a great time talking with you.
Same, thank you.
Same.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah, thank you.
exactly how you are on your videos. I mean, there's
That's really good to hear. Thanks.
yeah, just lovely. So
That was fun.
thank you very much, and we appreciate you joining us, and yeah, we hope you can come back and visit us again sometime.
Totally.
Totally. And good luck with your channel and all of your sailing adventures to come. And yeah, I think this interview series is a great idea.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you.